Well, Syria is in the middle of the Middle East. You want to flesh out a bit what you see happening in there and what are the consequences for Jordan on one side, Lebanon on the other, and Israel in the middle?
Yeah, let me look at this in two different ways. Up until 6-8 weeks ago, when analyzing the Israel-Syria prospects for peace, one would make two very different arguments. The actual issues between Israel and Syria are not all that difficult to resolve. The territorial issue is hard, but not impossible. It's a question of handing over the Golan Heights or not handing over the Golan Heights. The security issue is not impossible. The two sides, in fact, when they were negotiating in the 1990s, made very substantial progress on security arrangements. The issue of political relations is not that problematic. There will be embassies or there won't be embassies, but you can negotiate that. And the question of water is no longer as problematic as it once was because as the price of manufacturing water begins to approach the price of exploiting existing water resources, if you can't figure out how to share it, you can produce it. And Israel already is a world leader in creating water in desalination. Again, I don't want to minimize the problem, but the four major issues in dispute are eminently resolvable. The problem in the Syrian-Israeli context, though, is the context. Syria is a major supporter of Hezbollah in Lebanon and largely sees Hezbollah as a kind of proxy by which to hurt Israel when it doesn't want to engage directly with Israel. Syria has turned to Iran as a major allied partner, and we know that Iran represents a significant threat to regional stability, including, and perhaps in particular because of its quest for nuclear weapons. And so as part of resolving these four immediate issues, which are resolvable, you've got this question of where is Syria headed? Are they going to try to resolve these issues and maintain a relationship with Hezbollah and Iran, or are they ready to change that relationship? This now gets more complicated, and this is the second aspect, with what's happening in Syria today. It was really quite humorous. Just about 2 weeks ago, there were some articles in the American press dealing with the stability of Syria and how the First Lady of Syria was leading that country into democratic reforms and change. And 2 weeks later, there are 100 Syrians dead as a result of its own government, their own government shooting at them and killing them. Syria is inherently an unstable country. It's a country which just 30 years ago proved that the government's ready to kill a lot of people. In 1982, the government of Hafez al-Assad killed over 20,000 Syrians who were part of an uprising in the Syrian city of Hama. And I don't know if we're going to see those dimensions here, but it's a tough place. So one, I think, should be a little cautious about rather romantic views of a Syria that's changing gradually.